It's one of the most highly anticipated matchups for Texas Tech football in recent memory. A top 20 matchup out west in Salt Lake City between the number 17 Texas Tech Red Raiders and the number 16 Utah Utes. In today's video, we'll discuss the must-watch players for the Utah Utes as well as look at the odds, score prediction, and why this one, simple and plain, will be won in the trenches. How's it going, everybody? Welcome into the Red and Black Report. I am your host, RC Maxfield, and it feels like a new season is starting for Texas Tech. No disrespect to UAPB, no disrespect to Kent State, no disrespect to Oregon State, but you're in Big 12 play now, and it feels like a whole new season is starting for the Red Raiders. And what better timing than right at the start of it to have maybe a Big 12 title preview out west between Texas Tech and Utah. We'll discuss it all in today's video, but before we get into anything else, I'm going to ask you to like the video, and while you're down there, let me know your score prediction for number 17 Texas Tech at number 16 Utah. A matchup that has not happened in a little bit of time, and you'll see that here in just a second, but let me know your score prediction down on the pinned comment below, and stay for mine at the very end of today's video. All right, let's jump into it and look at the history between Texas Tech and Utah. The Red Raiders and the Utes have not played since 1973. Yes, and Texas Tech is 2-0 against the Utes. Both matchups happened back in Lubbock. This will be the first time Texas Tech plays Utah as a member of the Big 12. And it's going to be a big-time one. You got big noon kickoff out there in Salt Lake City. Kickoff is scheduled for 10 a.m. local time out there in Salt Lake, while kickoff is scheduled here in the Central Time Zone at 11 a.m. Let's go ahead and look at both of these teams and kind of where they stand in the Big 12. Okay, you got Texas Tech, the best scoring offense in the Big 12 by 10 points. Again, we talked about it. Listen, they really haven't played anybody yet, but they handled business like good teams do against other bad schools, right? Like, that's just the facts, right? Utah has done much of the same. They played UCLA, but UCLA just fired their head coach and may be the worst Power 4 football program going this season. Not a hyperbole. Go look at it. Nico Iamaleava made a terrible decision. Not him. It was mostly his camp, but we digress. We're focused on Texas Tech and Utah. So two top three offenses in the Big 12. Utah has allowed teams to score 8.3 points per game. Texas Tech actually not too far behind at 11.7. But again, both teams really haven't played anybody yet. So let's go to totals. Texas Tech, again, leads the way in terms of Big 12, in terms of offense, over 600 yards per game. Utah at 517. When it comes to defense, these teams are neck and neck. 224 for Utah in terms of average yards allowed. Texas Tech at 230.7. Now, rushing is where things are definitely a little bit different, okay? Utah is the second best running team in the Big 12, and they don't just do it with their running back, who is a familiar name, and we'll talk about him here in just a minute, but they also do it with their quarterback, Devin Dampier, the transfer in from New Mexico. He followed his offensive coordinator from New Mexico there in Albuquerque out to Salt Lake City, and it has worked so far for the Utes with 290 yards rushing. Texas Tech, 215. Now, the interesting aspect of this is Texas Tech has the second best run defense in the Big 12 at 41.3 yards per game. Utah allowing 90. Again, it's hard to really take some of these stats too seriously, but I think they're worth bringing up, right? Then you go to passing. Texas Tech, number one in the Big 12 in passing, 387. I mean, Baron Morton is on some Heisman watch list type stuff. He has been balling out. Utah, serviceable considering their rushing attack, which again was 290 in terms of rushing the football per game. Utah, 227 through the air. When it comes to defense, Utah, Texas Tech, similar-ish. Utah clearly better on this. 134 yards passing per game. Really haven't faced anybody. And then Texas Tech makes sense. They've given up some, big plays when it comes to having fourth or whatever stringers in the game. Now, when it comes to Utah, we'll talk about them here in just a second. I do want to give a major shout out to today's video sponsor, which is Home Field Apparel. Head on over to homefieldapparel.com to get your new favorite Texas Tech vintage t-shirt, hat, bomber jacket. I don't know about you guys, but I saw those icy jerseys that Texas Tech just released for the second year of Patrick Mahomes. I'm telling you right now what would go good with that. A vintage Texas Tech hat. So head on over to homefieldapparel.com. Save 15% off your entire purchase. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. And use the promo code RBR15 to get that 15% off. All right, let's go look at Utah. This is one of those teams, in my opinion, that I didn't know what to expect from them coming into this season. Obviously, I love Kyle Whittingham. I think what he has done for the Utes, making them a physical program and just a winning program overall, has been outstanding. And it looks to be that really the reason they weren't very good last year in their first year in the Big 12 was simple and plain. They didn't have a quarterback. I mean, Cam Rising was hurt. He has since retired from football. And now you go out and get one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in all of college football in Devin Dampier. And he seems to be working. Okay, I'll tell you that. Let's go ahead and look at the stats. You can see them on your screen right there. Devin Dampier is not only the leading passer, obviously, but also the leading rusher for the Utes through 3 games so far. He's averaging 6 yards a carry with 1 touchdown. Wayshawn Parker, you may remember that name if you're a Texas Tech fan and remember the Red Raiders going up and playing Washington State last year. He was the running back up there for the Cougars that John Mateer was handing it off to quite a bit. He has since obviously transferred to Utah to be the primary running back for the Utes this season. He is averaging 7.1 yards per carry. They've also got another one in Nakari Rogers, who's really solid at the running back spot. 36 carries, 152, 4.2 yards per carry to go along with 4 touchdowns. He's more of that physical running back. Ryan Davis leads the way in receiving for the Utes, 19 catches, 171 yards. And he's very interesting in terms of what he does well. They use the middle of the field really well, this Utah. So I'm very interested to see how that navigates with the Texas Tech linebacking core and Jacob Rodriguez, Ben Roberts, and obviously John Curry at that star position. You got Dallin Bentley, 11 catches, 112 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns. He's another middle of the field threat for Devin Dampier. Now, the interesting part about Utah, they have a dynamic defense, and you must know at all times where John Henry Daly is. He has 5 sacks through 3 games, people. He is an absolute menace, the sophomore is, and he is a guy that, well, Mac Leftwich is going to have nightmares about, really truthfully. Just like you have the Utah offensive coordinator probably having nightmares about the Texas Tech defensive line, who we'll talk about a little bit more here in just a second. Mac Leftwich is doing the same thing with John Henry Daly. Expect him to move around a little bit, but that matchup potentially between him and Howard Sampson could be a lot of fun to watch. Jackson Beanie, you've got 7 solo tackles, 12 total, but 2 interceptions already. One he took to the crib for a pick 6. There's a lot of guys you need to know on this defense. Lander Barton is their kind of Jacob Rodriguez guy in the middle of that defense that makes things go. He's an interesting guy, and I think a really big proponent as to why Utah has been good so far in terms of stopping the run. Now, before we get into the odds and my prediction for this game, I think that there's a few things that we must talk about in this football game for Texas Tech and where I think the Red Raiders can win it. And we'll talk about the 3 keys to the game later on in another video here on the channel this week. Just another reason to hit that like button and subscribe to the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube right here in the RBR. But the matchup I'm watching most and truly where I think this game will be won, it says it right there on your screen, battle in the trenches, okay? Whoever has the least amount of mistakes on the offensive line for their respective team and defensive line in terms of contain, I think win this matchup. I truly believe, though, in terms of marquee matchups in the Big 12 this season, this game has the most marquee matchup we will see against really position groups going at it, okay? The Utah offensive line is arguably the best offensive line in America. That is not a hyperbole. They are really freaking good. Both of their tackles could be first-round picks, and their left tackle, I mean, Yeah, he's going to be a first-round pick. And then their right tackle, maybe the first tackle taken in the draft. The Penei Sewell situation from Oregon, where technically he's not a left tackle, but he's clearly the best talent at that position. And then you have Texas Tech, where we've talked about it ad nauseum on this channel, how great this defensive line is with David Bailey, Lee Hunter, Skylar Gill-Howard, Romello White. You've got A.J. Holmes Jr., Duda Banks, Jaden Cofield, Charles Esters III, Chetta Ofili, right? Like, you are loaded on the defensive line. But those four guys, the four horsemen, if we have anointed them here on this channel, and David Bailey, Lee Hunter, Skylar Gill-Howard, and Romello White against that Utah offensive line is going to be cinema. Cinema. It is the marquee matchup in this conference this year, okay? You are seeing legitimately, no joke, there's 9 guys in this situation in the sense of 5 offensive linemen for Utah, 4 defensive linemen for Texas Tech. I think 7 of them right now today are pros, maybe all 9. I mean, it is unbelievable the talent level in this matchup. And if Texas Tech can just win and make Devin Dampier uncomfortable and make him a passer more than anything, right? You have to stay in your rush lanes more than ever against a guy like Devin Dampier. I think that's going to be the difference for the Red Raiders in terms of if they were to win this football game. Because, again, I don't think they're going to have the type of success they did in the 3 early non-con games, when it comes to getting to the quarterback. But if they can get to Devin Dampier in the pocket and create that situation where he is a passer more so than an improviser outside of the pocket, that's what's going to win Texas Tech the football game, period. Because if you allow him to scramble and go off script and get, 7-8 yards here, hopefully not on 3rd down, but to extend drives, you're going to be in for a long day because this team is really good. These are the 2 best teams in the Big 12, in my opinion. Okay, I'll hand up for accountability on Utah. I didn't know exactly what they were going to be. I was skeptical of Devin Dampier early on. He shut me up and shut me the hell up real quick. Okay, they are really good. This is a marquee matchup and one, in my opinion, that we could very much see in Arlington when it comes to the Big 12 title game in early December. All right, let's go ahead and look at the, odds for this one. What does Vegas think? Because at the end of the day, they're a lot smarter than me. Okay, let's see. The over-under is set for 57.5 with the spread at 3.5 to the home team, the Utah Utes. So really, honestly, this is a pick'em game if this was on a neutral site, according to Vegas, because typically the home team gets about 3.5 points. This is a pick'em game, according to Vegas, as I mentioned. And this is a matchup between the 2 teams that have the best odds to win the Big 12, okay? Across the board, there is a massive discrepancy in the odds now where Texas Tech and Utah are clearly 1-2 in terms of favorites to win the Big 12 title. That being said, again, you saw the odds, and let me go ahead and put them back on your screen so I can talk through my prediction logic here. We're talking about a top 20 matchup, a team in Utah who I think is really good. They proved me wrong, as I mentioned a couple times here in this video. The simple fact of the matter is this. These 2 teams, this game could go either way. This is a coin flip, in my opinion. That being said, I want Texas Tech and this roster to prove it to me on the road. They got to prove it to me, okay? Go into Utah and make a statement. Prove to everyone in Red Raider Nation all that talk, all this hype going into the most pivotal season in program history wasn't just that. There's actions behind the words, right? Texas Tech is talented enough to win this game easily. They're easily talented to win this game. So is Utah. But I will say this, until Texas Tech proves it to me in terms of high-level wins on the road with the expectations you have currently, I don't know if I can pick them. So that being said, I have the Red Raiders, and this is a change from what I said in the preseason because, again, my thoughts on Utah have changed. I have Texas Tech losing this matchup 30-28 out in Salt Lake City, okay? I have Utah winning this. I don't think anything changes in terms of my mental, where can Texas Tech go? I still think this is a Big 12 title preview. That's my prediction right now in week 4, that Texas Tech will play Utah again this season, and it'll be down the road from, relatively to Texas Tech in Arlington for a Big 12 title and its chance to go to the college football playoff. In my opinion, these are the 2 best teams in the Big 12. Texas Tech has a chance to win it, but again, they got to prove it to me. And that's why I'm picking Utah to win this one 30-28 out in Salt Lake City. All right, let me know your score prediction for number 17, Texas Tech, at number 16, Utah. Marquee matchups all around. I'm excited as hell if you can't tell. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong in terms of my prediction, but we shall see. Either way, it's going to be absolutely electric out in Salt Lake City. But before we head out of here, let me know your score prediction down on the pinned comment below. And be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech football all year long, whether it's on the gridiron, the portal, high school recruiting, injury news, anything else, we've got you covered right here in the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the Red and Black Report. All right, I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, as always, stay safe and Recom Tech.